integrating the terrestrial and marine conservation for a green future. We have with us panelists Dr. Vitthal Apte, Dr. Madhav Karki, Mr. Félix Ebo'o, and Dr. Vinita Apte. To begin with our discussions, before that I would like to introduce to you all our first speaker, Mr. Félix. He's a coordinator of the environmental organization MS de la Planète du Cameroun. We'll be talking about the waste management in the Cameroon, the case of the town of Komsanga.
Hello everyone, very happy to join you this morning and thank Dr. Vinita for the invitation. I'm very happy because this morning I'm together with the mayor of the city of Samba 1. Samba 1 is the chief city in Cameroon. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for this place. I present first Cameroon because many people don't know Cameroon. The situation. Cameroon is one country of Africa, Africa Nepal. Cameroon has a deep biodiversity, and Cameroon has many different cultures. And Cameroon, the climate change is very realistic because Cameroon will have the second place in the world after Amazon. We have a Equatorial forest in Cameroon, but we have this big forest. Every day, this forest disappears because it contains from Cameroon and certain foods. In Cameroon, we have a problem of the waste. Waste is a big problem, and in many parts of Cameroon, the mayors has many problems. The sampling is a big problem. And the reason that Pune is one example that we can talk about waste. Because in Africa, we don't have many experiences about the sampling. In Africa, we have a forest, but climate change has many consequences. Pollution, people die every day because we have diseases. In Africa, we don't know the importance of we have a problem of education. Educate people don't know the importance of the planet. We have issues, but we don't know the importance of these issues. Partnership in Africa is best for us because we need the help for want to share experiences with other countries. I think that my colleague, Serena from Pune, can help me in the translation. Ensuite, du French, et merci, Serena, de nous rejoindre. Alors, je vais l'expliquer au Cameroun. Le Cameroun, c'est un pays d'Afrique centrale qui regorge une grosse forêt équatoriale. Alors, le Cameroun face à une abondance climatique. L'Afrique n'a pas de compagnie de société qui polluent, mais elles sont juste des victimes. Alors, le Cameroun a plusieurs problèmes de déforestation, problèmes de déchets. Puisque nous avons ces déchets, nous avons tout cela, mais on n'a pas d'importance. Et nous venons dans les côtes pour prendre la main des structures. Par exemple, les collectivités camerounaises, nous sommes avec le maire, de Ensemble Mini, qui est venu à la côte, là, il faut laisser le voir. On veut améliorer les conditions au Cameroun. Alors, collectivité, comment nous accompagner dans le reboisement, dans la gestion des déchets. Et nous avons d'autres projets d'exploration. Nous devons aussi attirer les populations en Afrique qui voient la richesse naturelle de ça, sans oublier la séquestration carbone.
I believe you would like me to translate into English. So, first thing that Jean-Louis said is Cameroon is in Central Africa, so it's very much a forested country. And what Jean-Louis wanted to explain is that Cameroon is one of the countries in Africa that is affected negatively by climate change, of course. And one of the reasons why he himself and the minister here is because of wanting to collaborate and find connections, network, and find solutions to the climate change situation in Cameroon. So that includes building resilience and building connections to create progress. And that includes managing reforestation, managing waste, and ensuring that these things can be progressed. And there's a lot of opportunities in Cameroon for that. And I have the pleasure of meeting Jean-Louis and seeing the great work that he does in the country with educational programs and other organizations in the country. So I believe I've covered most of the things, and I will pass it on.
This session of climate strategy for Indonesia resilience development. We have four speakers at this session. I would like to invite first Director of Adaptation.
Next we have with us Dr. Apte, the Chief Thematic Program Executive, BAIF Development Research Foundation in Pune. Sir has over 32 years of experience leading the agricultural division at BAIF and implementing various agricultural research programs. With 58 research papers published in international and national journals, he is also the member on expert boards. So I'll request you to start with your presentation.
Young climate activist. So, as we started earlier, I would like to about 7 to 10 minutes.
Yeah. So, I have been working in across India. 4 million tons. So BAIF's program is mostly on value program. The system of livestock based value and not based value and we have one system as well as we have Indian government and the other countries. So I will be sharing our community-led agro program, which we are implementing since last 1.5 years. So this is basically what we are seeing in Delhi. There is a loss of biodiversity. Worldwide, if you see, there are 4 lakh crop species. Currently, very less species are there on this accession. And basically, there are only 3 major crops on which 4% substitution. It is maize, wheat, and rice. So there is need to conserve biodiversity. So this indigenous crop diversity is the major component, and for that we are working with the community. We are conserving these resources in the So this program, what we are doing, we are institute and institute conservation. So this was about our organization, Biodiversity Foundation. So as I mentioned, we are working on different livestock based and farm based values, water safety, rural non-concepts, and our outreach is almost 15 states, 0.1 million villages and 4 million families. And these are our different livelihood programs. Next, please.
All of them are affected. So, increasing the annual temperatures,
so I was mentioning this worldwide species, there are 4 lakh plant species estimated worldwide. Out of that, only 3 lakh species are documented, and only 30,000 are used. And out of that, only 7,000 are being utilized. So the genetic base is going down, it is narrowing down. And currently, our focus is only 30 species, which is building the world. And mostly 3 of the major rice requirements. So globally, we see 25% of the population has been lost since last century. And finally, we take this as so that this land genetic resources will start coming in a great in the demand. So these are some these are the various features. One is monoproteins and monovitamins. Mostly other then the great disconnect again to muscular of arid varieties. Then safeguarding of this crop cultivar and indigenous vaccine. Then climate change and vulnerability of communication and lack of and there are thematic safeguards for another so that this focus area is educational value. So considering this biodiversity is on 6 years. So 6 years means first is conservation. Conservation of the biodiversity is very much important. Biodiversity we are conserving almost 600 species. So this is closely with communities as well as the cultivation of these indigenous then fifth one is capacity as well as private government services. Add of this collective actions with the support of mainstreaming biodiversity program. This biodiversity aspect leads to sustainable development.
That's why we platform.
This is our program and goal. We can see from the past before they are working to the community we are seeing several groups are coming together and
Working on there are 6 recommendations.
So, conservation aspects, we have these are the elements
We need
we have hundreds of species. So, this type of farm conservation
Because knowledge and regulation and I think it's
And our some of the
we need to regulate
such like every
important system.
then second half you coordination. We are involving very closely connected in the field. The crowd putting fires, we evaluate the varieties that we are then there are a lot of traditional and for they are going your founders of the varieties like I am and not just in your box land. We are then coming to the consumption is changing like we can say this is a garden very local
Thank you.
we are promoting ethical gardening. They can take care of nutrition. There will be a population of 5 minutes. And these are the natural some of the traditional cuisines are so much open. You are open to some of the recipes. This is activity program is on factory and your knowledge we are also working in schools also where the children are in collective action to build this program government linkages this will support for the small activities regional level activities. And some of us are not there or there are a couple of this is not in the so this is the the power of so these are some of the key learnings of our program. So we also get community efforts like supporting sustainable outcomes, the conservation and management Then agro-products is very much essential for climate change. And the environment of food is very much essential to transfer the knowledge on biodiversity. The unfilled evidences lead to application of policy change. There are very communities of policy development framework. Food security environment and sustainability of as I mentioned, this program is product in other areas also. It has evolved as one of the models of agro-products members. And the conservation is typically based on mass So these are the diversity of the diversity like may, ozone diversity, millet. So these are the according to the power of agriculture. And as I mentioned, we have some of the 6 lakh in output. Thank you. We have
the diverse agroclimatic zones and many more micro Safeguarding our valuable biodiversity for posterity as a priority that cannot be neglected any longer. India is known for diverse flora and fauna, mainly varieties of crops, livestock, and plant genetic resources. The diverse agroclimatic zones and many more microhabitats within these agroclimatic zones have allowed the existence and diversity of genetic resources. In tribal regions, one can see how communities have been living in harmony with the nature. Some of these valuable genetic resources and biodiversity is now under a serious threat of extinction. Not only that these resources are getting scarcer, but of late, the rich knowledge that indigenous communities have on the use and conservation practices of these diverse bioresources is fast getting eroded. The younger generations today seem to have a very limited understanding of the region's biodiversity, which is an important source of food, nutrition, and livelihood security. Realizing the importance of maintaining the biodiversity for future research, food security, livelihood, and risk mitigation ability of small farmers and future generations, BAIF Development Research Foundation have initiated a participatory process of in situ and ex situ conservation and revival of local cultivars including cereals, pulses, oilseeds, white tubers, and tribal forest food resources in tribal parts of India. Characterization and evaluation of crop, land races and trials for productivity enhancement of worthy land races. Local seed banks and seed exchange networks have been set up to facilitate storage, exchange, and multiplication of traditional seeds. This can be taken up as a model of replication under different community networks. Participatory events around regions' agrobiodiversity and wild food resources, giving a boost to the local community and expanding the reach of the traditional knowledge through various visiting community networks. Recognition to the communities involved and benefit sharing, awareness generation on agrobiodiversity through seed festivals, seed sellers meet. Generation of location-specific database on existing local cultivars made available on the internet to the wider audience. identification and involvement of local institutions and farmers for long-term conservation and management efforts in each location. Community mobilization for participation and conservation and management of resources. Network of like-minded organizations, experts in research organizations mobilized, safeguarded the traditional knowledge and bioresources.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your detailed presentation. Next, we have Dr. Madhav Karki, Forest, Environment and Climate Change Expert. Sir is an advisor to the Minister of Forest and Environment, Government of Nepal. He is a member of the Nepal's Environment Protection and Climate Change Management National Council. He serves as a HE professor at Institute of Forestry at Ebo'o University, Nepal, and also is a member of the advisory committee of ICIAR Rupandar project. Welcome you, sir. I request you to kindly for your
It's a great pleasure to join this panel. The topic for panel is biodiversity, green forest, and blue forest, integrated terrestrial and marine conservation for a resilient sea. We are for 49. And I think the major theme of this work is finance. But I think finance is for protecting planet and people, because planet and people are under threat due to growing impact of climate change. So the main issue, the climate challenge, is becoming very serious. UN Secretary General calls it existential crisis. But I think we should also recognize, along with climate crisis, we also have nature crisis. Biodiversity crisis is extremely important because nature is both the victim and solution to the crisis. It is victim because nature is being impacted by climate change. Climate change is one of the direct drivers of change. Of course, human activities are also causing nature to decline. So we have this climate crisis, biodiversity crisis. We also have pollution crisis, which is also impacting. So I believe it's very, very pertinent, very important. Green forest, blue forest. I come from the intergovernmental platform on biodiversity ecosystem services. Our study indicates that almost 87% of the world is already, I would say, disturbed by human activity. We have only 13% of the world is without wet rest. The marine, I would say corals, they all are threatened. So I think this approach of integrated conservation is very, very important. But I am a firm believer that conservation or protection of terrestrial, coastal, marine and freshwater aquatic ecosystems, they can be done only at landscape level or seascape level. So we have to take landscape approach. Landscape approach means this is an approach where human activities and then natural processes and then the other activities like there are settlements, there are development work, they all have to be coordinated and they have to be managed holistically. That's why I am today my talk I am making 4-5 points. First of all, I think we have to have this concept of landscape management of forest and both blue forest, green forest. You have to have seascape and landscape management. And landscape management will lead to sustainable use because sustainable use of biodiversity is very, very important. We all know that CBD has 3 objectives. 1 is conservation, 2 is sustainable use, and 3 is equitable access of benefit. So you have to fulfill all 3 objectives. Then only the sustainable management will happen, and this we can achieve if we approach the landscape management. Now, what is the landscape management? This landscape management means that this takes a perspective which is a very holistic. It's a sustainable land management, sustainable forest management, sustainable marine resource management. So this perspective can happen if you take large area and manage the interaction, which means that if you take the forest, non-living forest products, food systems, this has to be managed. So why this is not happening now? Because this requires certain, there are certain basic requirements. First, you have to require creation of a resilient and alternative state of thinking. The resilient thinking is, it has 3 pillars. Resilient, we are saying resilient society, resilient ecosystem. So resilient means that it has to be done at the scale. First of all, scalability. Number 2, replicability. So whatever you do, like BAIF has done many wonderful work, but at a lower scale. They need to be expanded, they need to be scaled up. And then third is sustainability. So scalability, replicability, sustainability will lead to resilient ecosystem, resilient community. So first of all, you have to create resilient alternative state of thinking in managing landscape. And second, you have to have when you make a decision, you all are familiar, we live in watershed. Most of the, I think, South Asian countries have mountains and hills, and we have to manage in watershed scale. So the minimum scale for a landscape-based management is watershed. You have to be watershed, and which means that you take both the vertical and horizontal perspective, and then do the coordination. Horizontal means you have to coordinate the agriculture, you have to coordinate with the municipalities. Vertical means you have to coordinate low stream and downstream. For example, we have a problem of floods, the landslides, so they need to be reduced, and this is possible through vertical collaboration. And then you have to have inclusive knowledge management. I am very happy that traditional knowledge was mentioned. You have to use both modern knowledge and traditional knowledge. And third is, of course, whatever benefits comes out of the landscape management has to be equitably shared in a very transparent manner. So, forest and I would say marine resources, I think you have to manage them as an ecosystem service. We have ecosystem goods and services. Now these ecosystem goods and services are critical for sustainable development. They have to be available to the communities, to the countries on a sustainable basis, which is the current state. So when you, I think here when we took it, I think there are several negotiators. We have to say that in COP29 they have put nature-based solution as one of the adaptation approaches. So nature-based solutions if you do it right, it has to be done at a landscape level, it has to be done in an integrated manner, sustainable manner. And that requires funding. The current, I think the estimate is that there is a best solution, which is ecosystem-based adaptation, ecosystem-based mitigation, ecosystem-based disaster risk reduction. That is estimated to require $400 billion. And adaptation money is only $25 billion. So, I think when you are negotiating, you have to put that adaptation is a need of Africa, adaptation is need of South Asia, all the developing countries, least developed countries, small island developed states, they all need adaptation. And they can do natural solution. For that, we need scale of finance. So this is a very good argument. The data indicate that $1 in nature-based solution will give you a benefit of $32. This is the thing. So this I will conclude. So in the forest ecosystem, I think we have to first of all understand the forest ecosystem dynamics, and we do integrated multiple forest management, multiple forest management. We have to do ecosystem restoration. You all know that this is a decade of ecosystem restoration. Similarly, in the marine, I think we have a huge issue of plastic pollution. We have to reduce plastic pollution, and we have to manage our fisheries on a sustainable basis. And corals have to take it. So they are under serious threat. So we have to have nature-based tourism, nature-based, I would say, livelihood. So finally, I would say that these approaches, what I call landscape-based integrated forest and ecosystem management, they require transformative thinking. What is transformative thinking? It's not business as usual. Business as usual is out of question. Business as usual or current practice will not solve challenges, crises, natural crisis, climate crisis. So we need a transformative change, which means that doing things differently. All the ministry coordinating together, vertical coordination, horizontal coordination. But while we are doing things differently, the decision also has to be taken differently. So the decision right now, I think in most of the countries, is that forest ministry makes its own decision, agriculture ministry makes its own decision, although the biodiversity connects both the ministries. So we have to take decisions where all the ministries, it's a whole society, whole of government approach. So whole of society means NGOs, private sector, they all come together. Whole of government means all the government, at least the land-based government ministry, they work together. Then only integrated landscape-based forest resource management is possible. I believe we have knowledge, we have, I would say, human capital, but our natural capital is declining and financial capital is needed. So I hope this talk we will be successful in getting more money for our nature.
Thank you so much, sir, for bringing this prize and discussing one of the most important topics in this panel discussion. Next, I request Dr. Vinita, Apte, the founder director of TERRE Policy Center, to kindly address the panel.
Thank you, Climat. Thanks for joining both of you for this discussion, because we always think about the projects working outside India. Because the Indian BAIF is not my partner actually, but we hope that in the future we will be in a partnership for some project. Today, that organization is the biggest, I would say, in India, and we are working on different parts of India on inter-institution, especially the agroforestry. Our partner John also joined today for the discussion with the Minister of Cameroon, and we are doing a lot of grassroots level thing here of the Cameroon. And I'm really obliged that you are managed to come out here. So at the trade policy segment, when we speak about biodiversity, we always connect it with the business and biodiversity. But we are working, as everyone knows, and all people definitely know, that trade means working in change. And we stand for technology, education, research, and rehabilitation for the environment. So we are instrumental for climate finance for our organization as well as it will be to the grassroots level, separate to the grassroots level, because we are at the bottom of the pyramid. The NGOs, those who are working for conservation, biodiversity, agroforestry, those are at the bottom of the pyramid. And that's how the pyramid is built on those small projects, small or big, whatever it may be for the community benefit. We have projects in Maharashtra and all over India. We have developed more than 54 policies on the barren land. The main object is not only the plant trees and leaves that trees, but it has to be conserved. The forest has to be conserved. I think till date we have planted 500,000 plants, which is conserved in last 10 years, and that's why the 24 policies have developed. Right now we are concentrating on the blue forest because it is also very important for the coastal community resilience. We have a consortium of 5 countries like Sri Lanka, Maldives, Bangladesh, India, and India. We have 3 other partners. So we have developed all those blue forests in Andhra Pradesh and Pune in Chennai. So that's how it and also we are working in the coastal area of Mumbai, Thailand. So we have developed there more than 100,000 plants nursery for our mangrove plantation, and which has been planted in the next 2 years with that nursery network nurseries. Community development is our mandate, and through that we have developed more than 10 self-help groups to plantation and especially to grow the nursery. So the third I have already told about that we have to be formulated in such a way that everyone needs to get climate finance. Because the acute problem of climate finance that we have seen since the 2015 Paris Agreement comes in front of us. And businesses are developing, of course, businesses are putting their money in the projects, but those are not enough for the climate side. They are a very small portion of money which is only can be utilized for the mitigation, but not for the adaptation. And the whole transformation needs to be monitored and controlled by all the governments all over the world, because if the climate change means whatever the consequences of climate change, it comes to you, it's not as a rich or poor. Everyone needs to suffer with that. And for the small island countries or the countries the small regions like Africa, they are the most disadvantaged people. Like Vanuatu, when you travel to Vanuatu, it's a small island. Or Maldives, they are somebody said that 2015 all the small islands will go in the water. But the climate change is not only for the floods, there is also a drought coming up. And for that, benefit of giving to the society, everyone needs to work from now, because this age is already passing. That we will work. So we have to work from now, and we have to give some good results out of that. Which last week I couldn't say any policy that anything comes up in this talk. So we, the community, will have to work to fight the climate change. Thank you so much.
And so now, as rightly said, we have to work for the climate change. Whenever our discussions and the deliberations will be happening at a high level, that will keep on, the discussions will go on. But as we, the people who are working at the classroom level with the local communities, and as of like you mentioned for the landscape level and the seascape level. Integrating both these, I still feel we are on a positive note that we all stand for the environment and the climate change. Thank you to all the panelists for taking time for today's discussion, and special mention to Mayor Sir for giving the time for this panel. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone.
Let's have a group picture.
So, yeah, good morning everyone. Let me speak loudly because